Hey, what's going on, everybody? Wes here. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a little while since I've made a post about vending, but I've got a few things going on today. I wanted to bring you guys in on the loop and keep you posted. So many of you already know that watched my last video that I actually had ordered a third snack machine, and then the location that had requested that actually changed their mind and said that I couldn't put the machine in. That was back in November, just before Thanksgiving, and now here it is Valentine's Day weekend, and I'm just now getting it placed. We're gonna go ahead and get that installed today. I'm not exactly sure what time they're gonna show up over there, so I've got a few errands to run in the meanwhile. We're gonna be installing that machine, and also Pepsi's bringing in the drink machine since I'm partnered with them. So I'm gonna go over to my first location this morning. I've already got everything packed up here in the back to get that machine stocked. I'm gonna be dropping off some cash at the bank. I know this looks like a lot, but it's actually only about 150 bucks, and I've got a check to deposit. In the meanwhile, we're gonna head over to my second location. The first one's actually stocked up and good, so the second one's just right up the street from me. We're gonna go ahead and get that, get it loaded up with snacks, pull any cash out, and then generally just be ready to go ahead and make a move on this new machine as soon as it gets here. All right, so here we are on location, and I'm gonna run inside, get this thing filled up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long because the machine is gonna be installed today. I've actually gotta go ahead and put a Nayax card reader on that, so I'll highlight that process a little bit. If I can get some footage in here, I will, but either way, I'll jump in here, get this taken care of, and we'll be right back. All right, so here we are on my second location. There's a few things out, so we'll go ahead and get that stocked up. Here it is next to the Pepsi machine. Shout out to those guys for hooking that up. But by using the Nayax app, I'm able to only bring exactly what I need here. So I pre-packed this the night before, so it makes load up a breeze. We just go ahead and fill it up with exactly what we need, and there's no wasted time, no wasted effort of bringing things back and forth. And while we're here, after we got this stocked up, I'm going to go ahead and check out the cash box. Usually, unless it's really full, I just leave it for the next week. They use more cards here than anything, but yeah, we'll put this back for next week. All right, so I just got a call from the vet. They said the Pepsi's already on site, so I'm going to run inside real quick, throw some things in a box for the snack machine for when it arrives, and we'll go ahead and shoot straight over there, check out the Pepsi machine, and then we're probably just going to hang out on site until the actual snack machine arrives. All right, so here we are on location. It looks like Pepsi's already here getting set up. That's no problem. They bring their own guys and they get this set up. It's usually a breeze for them. They just bring the drinks and move everything right into place. Okay, so the Pepsi machine went in, no problem. I wasn't here to see it go through the door, but they said they didn't have really any issue. And so now I'm just gonna kind of hang out here, get some things organized, paperwork-wise. I've got a few phone calls to make, and then hopefully this new snack machine is gonna come rolling up, and I'll be here to intercept them and make sure that gets placed hassle-free. All right, so believe it or not, it's actually a week later right now. The machine got postponed. I was waiting on it, did all my phone calls, did everything I needed to do, and I got a phone call saying it was gonna be postponed for a week. So here it is, fast forward a week for you guys, and the new machine should be here shortly. We'll try to get some footage of everything getting installed. All right, so this machine is here on site. It's coming via Pilot Freight, via the white glove delivery that a lot of these vending machine sites are gonna pitch to you. And this is basically what it is. It's the liftgate service. These guys are going to pull up in a truck, pull the machine out, drop it down, and then we're going to get it put into place. They're supposed to technically put this into place for you, but I offered to lend a hand, as normally I do. And then next thing you know, you got your machine right where you need it. You'll sign for it, and then everything's good to go to get set up. So when you buy a brand new machine, it's going to look like there's no plug in it, but you just got to remove this back plate. It's just to keep the plug from getting damaged in shipping, and everything's going to be tucked right inside of this little cubby hole. And if you ever need to move it later, if you're going to a new location, you can just stuff everything right back in just the same way. And chances are your new machine is not going to be sitting level. You can see this one has a little bit of a rock to it, so you just want to get down the floor and you can find the adjustable feet and just kind of tilt the machine and then twist it out. You can kind of basically fine tune it by hand, and then you can bring in a wrench or adjustable and get that finished up. The next thing we're going to do is install our card reader. There's a plate here. Basically it's called a knockout, and we're just open the door here to access that from the back side. And then you can see that there's 4 nuts here. These ones are actually 9mm that'll reach with a wrench, but once I got those taken off, this plate just comes off without any issue, and that's going to basically show your opening for your credit card reader that we're going to go ahead and install right now. So for my business, I use the Nayax card readers. It helps with product tracking, but when you buy your system, it's going to have a plate here that we just took off from the other machine, but it fits your Nayax card reader itself, and it allows you to put this right back in the same spot that this other one came from. So you'll just go ahead and push it right in. It's going to overlap on the bolts here, and it'll slip right into place. And what you'll see here, what we've essentially done, as you'll see the card reader looks like it's installed, but we just need to make sure we put these old nuts from the knockout plate back into place, as you see here. And once it's bolted on, we're going to go ahead and get this wire plugged into the credit card reader from the back. So we'll just go ahead and undo our zip tie, get that part plugged in, and then we can just let it dangle. We're going to move on to the telemetry device, and then we're going to be hooking that directly into this device after we get everything set up. So here's our antenna that comes with the telemetry. Here's our magnetic telemetry device itself from Nayax. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing set up into place. I usually put it up kind of high above the motherboard here. Again, it's magnetic, so it just sticks right to the machine. And after we've got that in place, that cord that we let dangle that's coming from the credit card reader itself, we're going to pull that up and put it into the reader side, not the LAN. So make sure this goes straight into the reader. And now we're connected to the credit card reader itself. After that, we're going to go to the wiring harness that comes with the kit as well. It's got DEX and MDB, so you'll see this says DEX on these two cords. We're not going to be utilizing that. We're going to be using the MDB side of things. And this part here with the black connector is what's actually going to go into the telemetry device, this magnetic piece that we just installed. It can only go in one way, but it goes on the MDB DEX side, so it's going to be really easy to do. Next up, we're going to go to our MDB cables, and we're going to get those hooked up into the line that goes to the coin sorter, and I'll show you how to do that right here. And for those of you who might know, so here's our telemetry. This is the motherboard. You can actually see behind here that that's where all the brain of the machine is. Here's our cash box, and then this is going to be our coin sorter. This one actually slides out, which is pretty convenient. But you want to go ahead and take this wire that's coming from the coin sorter, and it's going to be connected here. So disconnect this part right here, and these two are going to take its place to interfere between the coin sorter and the actual motherboard. So it's super simple. They can only also go in one way. So these two parts were actually connected initially, and then this is the link between them for that credit card reader. And that's really all you have to do to get this thing set up, aside from tucking the wires in and then getting your antenna hooked up. That's right on top of the telemetry device. So literally the last thing we're going to do is just plug this right into the top, and then the antenna itself is actually magnetic, so it's just going to stick anywhere on the machine that's convenient for you. So now that everything's hooked up with our credit card reader, we're going to go ahead and power on this machine. I didn't mention earlier, but make sure everything's powered off before you mess with any of the electronics. Alright, so our LEDs came on. You can hear the credit card reader and the coin sorter booting up. And I noticed once I got this thing fired off that the credit card reader has all black squares on it. When I called Nayax, they said that it needed an update, which we were able to do over the phone. So that was no issue. We got that taken care of. And then we go ahead and load it up with our nickels, dimes, and quarters. After we've got all of our change in the machine, we're going to go ahead and get our MDB set up. So I made kind of a quick crude sketch of this machine here. Our MDB codes are what we're going to input into Nayax so that we know where everything is and what everything is for our product tracking. So first off, I'm going to count out how many snacks each row holds. So what I found out here is each row holds 10, except for the ones there on the middle to bottom section that say 18, which are the candy bars. So basically these rows hold 10. The next row here that you see holds 10, 10, and then these middle two here are 18. These are more for your candy bars and such. So you're going to want to know what that amount is. That's going to be called your par amount when you go to set everything up in Nayax. And so now to get our MDB codes here for our top row, we want to test out number 10, and we're going to test out number 16. And then the two in the middle we're going to be able to fill in. And I'll show you why in just a second. It's going to make a lot more sense once we get our testing set up. But we'll do the same for each row, do 20 and 26, 30 and 36, 40 and 47, and so on. It's really going to be a pattern that we're going to fill in, so we don't have to test each and every single bin individually. So right now we're going to go ahead and set up number 10. It's going to roll through, and basically it's going to send a message to our Nayax app telling us what bin is being used, and it's going to throw an MDB code, which once we see that, we're going to write it down on our card. And I'll show you a screenshot of that here in just a couple of minutes. So we've done number 10, now we're going to move to 16 and give it just a second, and it's going to wind up turning. It's not going to charge you because we're not actually vending anything. And now we've got it all set up. You can see here there's an MDB code of 22 and 16. So we got that written here, 16 and 22 for our top row. And all we really have to do to fill that in, you can tell the pattern, it's going to go 18 and 20. So 16, 18, 20, and 22, that's our pattern for that top row. But it's still good to check each one for our next row. We'll still do the first and the last row and then fill in the pattern. But just to skip ahead, here's our full card. You can see it was 32 and 38, and then it went up by 2 each time. Our middle rows went up by 1, but you still want to do the first and the last so that you know what the range is. But it's super easy. This is something that you want to go ahead and put in your pocket and keep for when you get home after setting up your machine, so that you can make sure you get everything set up the right way within the app for tracking purposes. And so now comes the fun part. We're just going to get everything loaded up full of snacks. I've already got everything curated beforehand. It's very similar to my other 32 selection snack machine, but this thing looks great. I'm hoping that we get some good sales here. I definitely look forward to keeping you guys posted on my progress with my vending business. I've got another location actually next week that's approached me. It's a BMW dealership here. So it's going to be my first car dealership. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to put a Pepsi machine in there as well as another one of these 32 snack machines. So if there's some kind of question you have about these, definitely let me know because I'll be installing one here within a couple of weeks. All right, thanks guys. Take care.